Hey guys, Jason here with a word to the wise. I just want to touch on a lot of little subjects. It's been a while since I've made a video. I got the house to myself. It's Good Friday. My job takes Good Friday off. I think that's amazing. Again, I prayed for this new job. It has been nothing but amazing. Their health program is insane. I don't want to sit here and talk about it. It's just really a blessing. It's amazing. I've been able to get myself into a very good mental state because my last job for 10 years was just nasty. And I would love to just go back there and visit the people and just say, hey, get out of here. Every other job out there is better than working here. Um, but I got fired and I don't want to be on the grounds and have any kind of issues with that. And But anyway, the space program launching. I sat and watched that the other day, and it's just the same kind of thing of just watching a rocket shoot out sideways. Doesn't just take that time to launch yourself with all that power and go straight towards the moon. Nope, they're gonna go sideways for a while. Make sure their life support systems and all that stuff work. Smart, good idea. Better safe than sorry. You don't want to be in a submarine and say, hey, let's see how far this thing will go down. You know, um, I guess you could pressure test it while you're on Earth. You could sit there and run the simulations of that. A lot of talk about energy lockdowns. Gas prices are a bit crazy at the moment. Not as crazy as they could be. I mean, I lived in Florida back in '08 when Katrina and all that stuff was going on, and I think gas was like $4. It hasn't peaked up there yet. I want to start though with just a video I watched the other day, and it was a guy talking about how the news can manipulate you in such a way that the stories are made to drive thoughts into your head, and they can probably really affect your emotional state. That's why I don't watch the news, because I don't like the way that it makes me feel, is the number one reason. I don't like the way that it can just drive you kind of like mad or batty, and it's just like, and you're upset. I'm upset more with the news, the way they present it, versus with these angles. My hands look massive. Um, so this guy was talking about it. He's like, okay, I'm going to put these two ideas out in front of you, and you won't have anything. You won't have any other way to not have it connect in your mind where you come up with the idea yourself, and that's what really makes it stick with you. And that's how they really manipulate you with it, is because they make it, you think, if your brain, he said it in a way that if your brain comes up with the idea, then it's there, it sticks. And he said this story. He goes, well, you always hear the story about like the girl that went missing, and they don't know where she is. She was this nice college student. She was going to be a nurse. She's driving. Witnesses said that they saw her and her boyfriend arguing earlier in the day. On to the next story. And then it drives the two together. Bam! Oh, the boyfriend did this. He's somehow connected because they argued and then she went missing. Oh, she was going to be a doctor or something too. Man, oh. And today, this Good Friday. Good Friday to you guys. My work takes Good Friday off. It's amazing. I don't think I've ever had a Good Friday off in my life, and this is the first time. So I go grocery shopping, get stuff ready for the weekend, and as soon as I get home, I hear my somebody who lives with me saying, "Oh, Iran, shot down an American jet." And it's just like, oh, well, we're at war, aren't we? These things are going to happen. You can't just go over there and bomb a bunch of people and not expect a little bit of trouble. We all lost a jet. Oh, so then I clip on it just as I just want to see what they're saying, because I want to see what kind of craziness is coming out of this. And oh, one pilot went down, one pilot was found, one pilot's still missing. Da da do 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 do. This jet is capable of this and that, and their bomber runs and da 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 da. And the president of that country says that anybody who finds that soldier will be given good fortune or something like that. And it's like, this is like a Black Hawk Down incident, and it kind of just drives this kind of madness into your mind, like, oh no, this guy's lost it, da, 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 da. But so energy lockdowns and all that kind of stuff. People are talking about these kind of things. You're hearing about it from a lot of people's lips. Oh, this is going to be like another COVID 2.0, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure you're going to see a lot of trouble everywhere. But here, I'm sure you're going to hear about, you should be doing your part. You need to be doing it. You're going to hear it from celebrities. You're going to hear it from the news. You're going to hear it from politicians and your friends and neighbors and all that. Oh, you shouldn't be doing this, and you should stay home, and maybe we should only be working 4 days a week, and da 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 da. But it always seems that what happens here in America is that things start getting blown out of proportion, and then they hone it back in and say, oh, we're just going to build more plants, but yet computers, AI, all these electric systems that they're pushing every single day, don't you think that they need all this energy, and they're going to tell us to stay home while they power these computers? Doesn't it all make sense? So I'm sure it's going to get a little hairy everywhere, but they're going to blow it up just so they can reel it back in halfway and say, oh, well, here, we're going to find a midpoint for everybody to kind of, we'll just have to coincide, or blah, 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 make this work. One last thing I want to talk about real quick is the Artemis project. So, okay, they shot this humongous rocket up into the air. They launched this little end capsule off of it. They say that there's room inside of these capsules for these 4 people, about the size of 2 minivans. I have a minivan. You can sit people in it. Yeah, it's great. To be housing 4 people in 2 minivans, totally possible. The one thing I always hate about all these things is, like, you could put a strobe light like an airplane has, but have a brighter version, an LED, super efficient, good reflectors, and you could really light this thing up so that all the people that are NASA supporters could watch you and see you through telescopes, and at nighttime in clear skies watch you, and you guys could tell them, oh look, they're getting closer to the moon, and you could watch that little flasher, and you could take your telescope, hone in on it, and say, look, I can see it, it's awesome. Now I can see them going towards the moon. Oh, they disappeared, but they're gonna come back around in like an hour. Oh man, I can't wait. But they don't. And they could have little cell phones strapped to the outside of these things, that are just in protective shells and lenses that are gonna sit there and just be constantly feeding, stars and space, and look at what we're looking at, and you can see, and now we can take these cell phones and you can see the earth, as we're traveling away the whole time. There'll be 24/7 live feeds. These things are going to be powered by the sun because we have an infinite amount of solar energy out here. But no, they never do anything for the viewers, for the people that are funding and paying the taxes on these things. It's always this thing. And what point I always have to say is, like, if you have a scuba tank and you're underwater, that tank lasts you about 30 to 35 minutes. You have the guys that wear 2 tanks, they get about an hour. Now, think about the weight. Think about the compressed air that is in these tanks. If you're out of the water and you see those things, they're pretty heavy. I'm sure they're probably a good 15, 20 pounds or more. And then my cat's meowing at the birds on the bird feeder. She makes the craziest little noise. Listen. It's cute. But now imagine you got 4 people and you're not breathing straight from the tent. You're oxygenating an environment. And I don't know how you would pressurize the space shuttle from the inside when you have a vacuum on the outside that is probably trying to pull that thing open, because if you open the door, you go shooting out in the sci-fi movies. So in this, how do you put pressure to the inside of something that wants to blow up? Wouldn't you have to make a vacuum and pressurize people inside of it? I don't know. And then you have spacesuits, same thing. Negative pressure. How do you oxygenate and create the right pressure inside? I'll never believe it because I can't prove it. There's no evidence that any of this is ever going on. And these poor 4 people have sold themselves out, I'm sure, for money and some sort of fame and fortune, so that way they can carry this crazy lie that nobody can prove, because nobody is going to be able to see them up there. You can't monitor them. Even if there was a moment where it's like, okay, at Saturday at midnight, they're gonna bring out the strobe box light and you can watch and see. They're gonna have that strobe going for about 30 minutes. So while they do a little bit of outside exercise, because I mean, the thing's flying, who cares if you're going 50,000 miles an hour, there's no air, so you can go outside the space shuttle and just tag along, because an object in motion is, if you're on an airplane and it's going 100 miles an hour, 400 miles an hour, you should be able to be outside of it because there's no air. So it shouldn't affect you. I'm going too long, I'm ranting, but it drives me nuts. This is how crazy I get. See how crazy I am? So I'll leave it at that. Just a word of the wise. I don't have any scripture I want to pull out, but if this whole thing, one more thing about the space thing, if something happened to them where they didn't get back, then they would say, no, we can't just risk sending people out there anymore. So that would help cut the space program down. We're going to make robots that we're going to send up there because, it's just too dangerous for people. I just want to put that out there right now, because if some B-side happened, think about that. Then they don't have to worry about people watching and doing all this. It's all going to be robots and computers and electronics. So, other than that, yeah, I mean, if something kicks off worse here or over there, I mean, it's a good idea that maybe tribulation is near. But I think it all spirals around that timepiece land. And like somebody said the other day, imagine all this fighting that's going on. Can't really tell who's doing what, but imagine if they said that there's incoming trouble and they had to use their iron system and something happened to that golden dome on the platform over there. Really clear the way. Or I've heard that they also have enough room to just build the temple next to it. So I don't know. We'll see. Just a word of the wise. God bless.